The Batman just recently hit theaters, and if you've heard any of the hype, you've heard that this movie is really good, and I'm here to make a video to say, yes, this movie is really good. I'm going to review this movie. I'm going to have no spoilers in the first segment. Don't worry, I'll warn once I start spoilers, but right now, no spoilers. Anybody could watch it. So, what makes The Batman so good? Well, yes, it really is The Batman. I'd say this movie earns the word "the" in front of Batman, because this is The Batman. It's Batman. It is everything that Batman is in its purest, rawest form, most raw form, whatever. Batman is in this movie, and it is Batman. Straight from the comics, anything that any real Batman fan would really hope to see. All right, but do you have to be a Batman fan to enjoy this? I mean, I'd say that being a Batman fan definitely helps a lot. It really makes you, just smile and seeing everything that you want Batman to be. But it's also still just a solidly well put together, well made film. It could easily make people into Batman by watching this movie and realizing how freaking cool Batman is, all right? Definitely, easily. So, yeah, it really adapts everything from the comics so perfectly. It's all of the character adaptations and even the story adaptations are ripped straight out of the comics. It's not particularly one comic story, but it puts together a lot of elements from a lot of different iconic stories, and I'd say it mostly is heavily inspired by Batman the Long Halloween, in my opinion. It seems most similar to that, and I would say if you like this movie, definitely go check out the animated 2-part movie, Batman the Long Halloween, or even read the graphic novel. But yeah, great story, and that's all represented in this movie, as well as many various other comic stories as well. Really all great ones, and again, also the characters are really accurate to their comic renditions. So, I mean, what's so special about it, though? Just adapting something on a movie. You could just read the comics. Why do you need to watch a movie? Well, you know what a movie has? It has great cinematography, okay? Let me tell you, the cinematography was so good. All the shots are, so close up in this movie, and, seriously, every single shot is just so cool. All right, the color palette is grim for sure, and yet it still really pops. It really works so well. Matt Reeves clearly had a vision, and he really put it out there, all right? And it is something to truly enjoy. The cinematography really helps suck you into the film, all right? And also, like I said, I didn't say this yet, but the score is also something that a comic book doesn't have. Yeah, the music, oh my god, I fell in love with the theme song for this Batman movie ever since it was in the first trailer that it was in. And it was even better seeing it utilized into the film. My god, the score really adds so much. It is amazing. And I might even go as far as to say it's my favorite Batman theme. Okay, it's not going to beat the iconicity of the 1989 Batman theme by Danny Elfman. But in terms of pure raw epicness and Batman, yeah, I really, really dig it. So that's all great. But let's go through each of the characters, because everyone really wants to know, is Robert Pattinson a good Batman? Some people had their doubts. Some people were like, oh, that is a perfect casting. Let me tell you, in the end, yes, it was a perfect casting. He does both Batman and Bruce Wayne very well, even though 90% of the film, he's Batman, okay, not Bruce Wayne. And that is actually rather perfect. Instead, he's that version of Bruce Wayne that is just so distant from the rest of Gotham and barely wants to be Bruce Wayne. And they even touch on that idea that is, of course, from the comics, that Batman's true identity is Batman, not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is almost his alter ego. And that's great, because that is what Batman is supposed to be. I loved having that portrayed. And wow, he just does so well. So many dramatic scenes that he makes dramatic. Every time you just see him literally walking is the coolest thing. He will move in slow motion, and it's just really enjoyable to watch. All right. And yeah, he really makes an impression. And the suit, I think the suit really helps him as well, for sure. All right, it just fits Robert Pattinson greatly, and he just really makes it work. He makes everything about Batman work. I could go on to explain everything that Batman is and just say that Robert Pattinson does it, but I don't need to waste that much time. So, next character, Catwoman, played by Zoe Kravitz. Another great casting right here. Now, this is also the most comic accurate Catwoman we've ever seen, all right? Certainly Michelle Pfeiffer made a great impression in Batman Returns, but I think we all know that is nothing like the comic book Catwoman. Okay, that was Tim Burton's own little idea, which that was great, okay? Total respect to Michelle Pfeiffer, her performance. But Zoe Kravitz here is the comic book Catwoman, and her dynamic with Batman is perfectly portrayed, and that is a very important thing. Yeah, I just really loved seeing that. You see their romance spark, and then you see also their conflict, because Batman's trying to be a hero, and Catwoman's kind of more of an anti-hero, sort of, in a way. Even very shockingly, the Penguin was done really well by Colin Farrell. Man, you couldn't even recognize that actor because of all the prosthetics and stuff on him. But wow, he also does really good. I wasn't expecting that. I when I first even heard that Penguin was going to be in the movie, I was like, we really need the Penguin as another villain in the movie because there's already Riddler and Catwoman. But no, he was really good. Oh my god, I was surprised. That's also easily probably the most comic accurate Penguin we've seen in live action. So really good job there. He was a charm to watch. And there's also Falcone, a little less major than Penguin, but he was also done pretty well. All right, all good stuff to see around there. But of course, we have the main villain, the Riddler. How does the Riddler do? Of course, some may have had their doubts by their first impression from the Riddler, because he had that suit that just like covered everything, and it wasn't really what the Riddler has ever looked like before. And let me tell you, Matt Reeves really makes that work into the film so nicely. Not only does it make him like intimidating and menacing in the scenes that he is, and really adds a lot, again, just to the visual appeal of the scenes that he's in, but it actually has meaning into the plot why he is dressed like that and everything. It just all works out very well. And yeah, the Riddler still does what the Riddler does, which is give a bunch of riddles to Batman to solve his crime. And at the same time, you just see how much of a super genius he is, a criminal mastermind, if you will. And also his dynamic with Batman is also really good. Just everything is so good here. Jim Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright. Also very surprised here because I feel like I barely saw him in the trailers, but he is a pretty prominent character in this movie, actually. And as year 2 Jim Gordon with year 2 Batman, it's really good. Most of what you see out of him is his dynamic with Batman, which is just done really perfectly, really what it always should be, and pretty much is. So yeah, that was really enjoyable. Also, it's worth mentioning that all the scenes with Batman mixed in with the GCPD, which there are quite a few of them, are just really exactly what year 2 Batman is. And then there was also Andy Serkis as Alfred. As soon as I realized Andy Serkis was playing Alfred in this movie, I knew straight away that was a perfect casting, because Andy Serkis is incredible. And yeah, he doesn't have that many scenes, but the scenes that he is in is done pretty darn well. All right, so I'll give you that. How about the actual story of this movie? All right, the story is really engaging to follow, I'd say. Okay, it's a 3-hour movie. It's a lot to sit through, but you don't even realize that it's 3 hours while you're watching it, because this movie really sucks you in so many different ways. And guess what? You're following Batman this whole time. Okay, this movie is really strictly solely a Batman movie. And it's interesting because no other Batman movies have really followed Batman as much as this one has. Because, all the other movies will focus on the villain a lot more and, give them like half the screen time of the movie, and then Batman the other half. It's usually just Batman trying to stop the villain. But no, this is like you follow Batman in every single scene of the movie, and that also certainly really helps suck you into the film. So really, really love that. And not to mention, Batman is doing actual detective work. This is a true detective crime thriller movie, honestly. And that is, of course, one of the biggest yet most forgotten traits of Batman, that he is the world's greatest detective. So it's so good to see him really do some genuine detective action here. All right, it is all about that. Of course, because the Riddler is the main villain, easily sets that up. But yeah, so that's all. That just all works out perfectly, right? And then there are the action scenes, and well, with such a long movie, the action scenes are pretty far between, but they always just come about so spontaneously, because there will be so many scenes of just talking and you watching more detective work, stuff like that, and then an action scene will just come spontaneously in the spur of the moment. I really like that, because you never really know when an action scene is about to begin until it starts, till it's happening. And wow, the action scenes were so great, of course, because Robert Pattinson is such a great Batman. He makes his whole fighting style just really great to watch. There's like one particular sequence when he has the Batmobile car chase that we've seen a little from the trailer, so no spoilers, but like that is as awesome. That is even more awesome of a moment than that was already in the trailer. That was great. Oh my God. And just all of the other combat scenes are just really, really good. It is, again, pure Batman. In addition to the action scenes being unpredictable, most of the story was really unpredictable. You really never knew what would happen next. Usually you watch a superhero movie, you like almost always know what the final act is going to be. I really had no idea what this final act was going to be until it happened right in front of your eyes. And you're like, oh, wow, that's shocking. There are so many shocks. And yet, there's no like jaw-dropping moment, but it's just everything is a shock because you never know what's coming next, and that's just great. So yeah, clearly, really liked this movie, and that's all the spoiler-free stuff I really want to get out of the way for The Batman. Now I'm going to go into a spoiler segment. So if you haven't watched it, definitely go watch it. I recommend it again for Batman fans or non-Batman fans alike. It is amazing. All right, so now let's get into the spoilers, which there's not much to spoil, but biggest spoiler is the Joker is in this movie, and that was honestly my least favorite scene of the movie. And also just to mention, in general, I feel like the whole final act of the movie wasn't quite as exciting as the first two acts, but that's only because the first two acts were so practically perfect that it was hard for the final act to live up to it. But yeah, I didn't really like the Joker scene, only because I really was thinking the whole time this movie doesn't need the Joker. Like, the Joker is obviously just a cameo, a Easter egg thrown in, and this was a movie that wasn't really that type of movie. I was hoping. And also, I'm not super confident about the casting choice for him quite yet. That dude from Eternals, I don't know. I'm not sold at all yet from this one scene, but I'm hoping that I'm proven wrong and that he's actually a really great Joker. We have yet to see that. And also, I mean, is the Joker going to be in the sequel again? Now he's already buddied up with the Riddler. So does that mean the Riddler is going to come back in the sequel? Which, don't get me wrong, like I said, I really loved this portrayal of the Riddler, but I feel like he doesn't need to be in the sequel again because his story's kind of wrapped up. So I don't know. That's why I didn't really like that scene. Yeah, everything else other than that, really great. And yeah, just sequels in general. I'm really excited to see what villains they add. I mean, they really established the world right here. Gotham City is portrayed so well. So there's so much more to happen in the future. I'm sure the Penguin will continue to have his importance in stories, and that's good. And of course, I'm hoping we see more Catwoman. I'm not sure if I'm ready for like Robin yet. Like I kind of like Robert Pattinson on his own, but we'll see about that. We'll see what happens. All right, a lot of rumors going around saying that Matt Reeves might, because he really likes the Heart of Ice story, bring in Mr. Freeze, which that would be pretty cool. I mean, Heart of Ice is of course a great story right from Batman the Animated Series, but at the same time, I feel like a character shooting around a beam of ice isn't really going to fit so perfectly into this very realistic movie, which I should have mentioned that in the spoiler-free part, but yeah, the tone and just the realism of this movie is perfect. And again, just everything Batman is supposed to be about. So, okay, all right, that's it. That is my review for The Batman. Very long, very mostly all positive. So yeah, there you go. I really loved the movie. That all being said, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for lots more videos coming real soon. Bye-bye.